Alright, what's going on? Today we're gonna be playing Cuphead, 300%ing it actually. It's a lot easier than you might think. So let's get into it, yo. Yep, that's right, with 300% Cuphead. Alright, let's go. First, do the tutorial, fiddle with the settings a little bit, and then, complete the tutorial, let's go. Alright, next, I went to talk to this Apple guy. Apple guy gave me a couple of coins. Alright, yep. Went spend it in the Porcrium shop. The name's kind of stupid. Went spend it there, and then immediately got down to business, started whooping ass all over the place. Who would have guessed it? Alright, then immediately after that, I had to make some money. We kind of broke, kind of down in the dumps, so we had to make some money. When made some money, I actually did this run again. It was pretty easy. Later, we'll have to pacify it. That's for the 300% though. We'll get to that later. And then right after that, went and bought some stuff from the Ground Emporium. And then, we fought some vegetables. Kind of weird, kind of wacky, but kind of one-tapped them. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Right after that, we went and did this other run again. But honestly, I died at the very end. But then we got back and we won. So, kind of dope. Made some more money. So it was right here in the video where I was looking over my OBS and I saw we're recording any game audio, but honestly for this video we don't really need game audio, but I went and fixed it, so it's kind of update what's going on, I guess. There we go. Alright, now you guys can hear audio. You can see right after we fixed game audio, all of a sudden we started whamming down on this flower, whooping this flower's ass. I don't even think he honestly doesn't deserve it, but we started whooping this flower's ass. This shit was crazy. Should have been there. Now, honestly, I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't really want to edit this video boss by boss, so I'll just recap what happens for the rest of aisle 1. We got absolutely zooted with the super, beat up some frogs, and then right after that, we beat up a plane, and then now we're in aisle 2. Let's go. Wait, hold it. Alright, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Aisle 2 is a snooze fest, so let's just recap what happens. I'll just show it this time. As you can see, I can't really help the fact that I'm just such a demon at Cuphead so far. So, let's just get into it, and now we're on to aisle 3. Now, before, I talk about the boss that gave me the most trouble, let's just, get out the way. Which bosses got clapped literally immediately. Railroad Wrath was not one of the bosses I was expecting to get on this 300%. I truly have no idea why it took me upwards an hour to defeat this one boss on aisle 3. And that was it. It was time to head to Inkwell Hell. I had no clue what was in store for me, because all I knew was that the most epic battle ever was about. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, King Dice is pretty easy. It's I mean, he gives you free HP throughout the match. It's a pretty easy boss battle. I'm not gonna lie with you guys. But this is more. This is what I've been training for. I played the whole game to get to this point, and it's about to be the greatest fight. It's in the first place. Let's be real. Does he know who he's going against? Cool guy villain, 9,000. Ever heard of him? I hear he whoops ass on the daily. That's all I hear. Okay, Yeah. You guys can see I clapped the devil too. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why they're the last bosses in the game. They're actually both kind of easy, but you know, you know, we clapped them, we got them. But that's not the whole game yet. We still got to do the DLC. DLC. That's how you get the 300, right? So let's get into it. We went over, we showed up, and then Chef Saltbaker gave us our brownies. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but immediately after that, we started whooping absolute fucking ass. So after I beat 200% of Cuphead, which is the DLC and the game, now we got a 300% Cuphead, which includes taking out every boss in expert difficulty, achieving an A rank on every boss, and doing each run and gun passively. Let's get into it. So, firstly, I waddled my happy ass over to the King's League, and you might be thinking, what is the King's League? Never heard of this place before. So, pretty much what it is a bunch of parry mini games, right? After you beat one of them, you move on next one. But after you beat all of them individually, you have a challenge called the Gauntlet, where you beat all of them again, but in a row, which honestly sounds a lot harder than it really is. So, yeah, I'll show you that. So, the first mini game consists of taking out these pawns. All you gotta do is just wait for him to come down, parry him, and then you win, which, as you can tell, I absolutely whoop these guys. Now, next up is the Knight. And the Knight, pretty much all he does is he kind of baits you into trying to attack him, but you have to wait for him to rest. And he has a bunch of different moves, trying to bait you, all of them. You have to do a certain thing to wait for him to rest and stuff. But other than that, he's pretty easy, just takes a while. So, that's the next one. The next parry game is a Bishop. And the Bishop, pretty much you have to parry him to start it off, right? And then after that, he'll send some bells after you, but they're pretty easy to avoid. And how you get it started is you gotta, take out these candles, make them parryable, you parry them, and then, after a while more candles appear, so. Other than that though, these are pretty easy. All these games are pretty easy. But yeah, I whooped them. On to the next one. So this time around, it's a rook, right? And pretty much he's portrayed as an executioner. He sent the weird ghost heads after you, and you play a really weird game of volleyball with him, right? And pretty much the more heads you hit on him, the more like sparks you see at the bottom, the more he sends of those. But other than that, it's just like the Knight. He takes a little bit to beat, but he gets demolished by the door. So on to the next. So this one is the Queen, and the Queen, pretty much how it starts off is you gotta attack her with the cannon. You gotta parry these lion figurines that come across the screen, and then she has this weird attack where it's like she has these weird, expensive, like, egg statue things, but, they're kind of easy. You just dodge them, so. But other than that, she gets absolutely demolished, and, you can crown me King Champion of Kings. So that concludes the Gauntlet. Alright, so to start off with the base game, we're gonna, hop it in Forest Follies and do a pacifist run. Pacifist run means you can't kill anything in the run, but you gotta complete it. So there's some weird instances later down the line where you gotta do some certain weird jumps, but I'll show you guys when we cross the path. Other than this, Forest Follies is a really easy pacifist run. Immediately going from that one straight onto another one, we're going to do Treetop Trouble. Treetop Trouble is really easy, other than this one instance where you got to do this weird dash over a boss right at the end, but other than that, it's really easy. You just dodge a little bit. But let's go into the first boss we're going to be doing. Psych, I just lied to you. I'm not really going to cover the boss at all. I'll just show you the receipts, But first boss is Floral Fury, so, here they are. Now, with those done, we go straight into Aisle 2, and, let's just be honest, I immediately start whooping ass on the spot, so, let's just show you what happened here. Now, onto the, the pacifist runs. I don't know what it was about the circus one, about the circus pacifist run, but I just couldn't do it for the life of me, because it was so unforgiving, because you had to, farm hearts in the beginning, and then you have to, give up hearts near the end. on, you know, just making it past certain walls of enemies they couldn't make it past, or like a mini boss in the middle of it. But at the end, there was also this really ridiculous jump. Just how I did with the moth and the other one, this one was probably more ridiculous because it was pixel perfect. You had to make it, so it just seemed impossible. But eventually I did, so, you know. Now, I don't know where the other run and gun footage is, but, you know, you can clearly see I did complete it with the P on the flag, so, you know. But that leaves us on to aisle 3 with, you know, obviously what do I do here? I do here what I do with all the other ones. I whoop ass. Now, it has been a while since we've been to Inkwell Hell. You know, we're here to whoop ass just like usual, but, you know, let's just hope on the off chance that, you know, they've upped the difficulty on King Dice a little bit. You know, that's all we can really pray. It's safe to say that, you know, it's as easy as usual. You know, I guess his little mini bosses are a little bit harder, I guess. He's a long boss, but, you know, it's like no other day, you know, I just, you know, whoop, constant. But, you know, maybe the devil is a little bit easier, you know, let's pray for the best. Maybe he's a little bit off easy. Sweet. You know, not like I've done it before or anything, you know. Hold up. Wait, did you guys just hear what I just said in that clip right there? What do I mean by I've done this before? You see, what I'm trying to say here is I've already done this 3 times. You know, maybe some of you guys already cracked the code by, you know, seeing just, you know, insane pro-like gameplay. It's like, yo, you know, this guy's way too good to, you know, be trying to hide this facade from us. But I'm sorry I had to tell you guys the truth. Now, you know, back to the game, we went to, you know, a couple of islands, had to grab some secret coins so I could buy everything in the shop, become the ultimate, you know, capitalist. Next up on the chopping block is all the DLC bosses, so, you know, we can't really guess exactly how this is gonna go.
Here's a real class battle. Now go!
Now, remember when I said, you know, Ghost Train was probably the hardest boss I faced? Dear God, was I wrong. Oh my goodness. I was fighting this dude for probably an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 2 hours if we're pushing it. I could not get past this guy for the love of God. I honestly think I might have shed maybe a tear or 2 fighting this guy. But, as we all know, I'm Cool Guy Villain 9000. Clearly, there's nothing that gets past me, right? So, not only did I whoop his ass, but I S-tiered that motherfucker. Oh my God. I was so happy to see this, dude. Alright, so next what we want to do to, you know, 300% the game is we got to get the cursed relic into looking like the not cursed relic. It's kind of simple. We just got to beat a bunch of bosses with it, so it's pretty easy. Let's get into it. Oh yeah, one more thing. We're going to be getting the Miss Chalice filter, which all we need to do is just beat every boss with Miss Chalice, so it's not really that hard. And it doesn't matter what difficulty, so now let's get into it. Alright, so to start off, I equipped the Miss Chalice cookie thing and then went up into Botanic Panic. And, we just started whooping every boss in the
Hey,
game. Alright, which immediately, right after that, I started working on the little achievements that I, still had to do to, truly 300% the game, which was defeat a boss with Miss Chalice's super, one of her supers, which was, I'll be honest, it was pretty easy. But then right after that, I had to defeat airplane boss, but I could only use like the mini plane, which only shoots the mini bullets. But it didn't matter which difficulty. I tried on regular, but I'll be honest, I was just not doing anything for. I was doing shit for damage. All right, it was horrible. So I had to eventually threw it on simple. I beat the boss, and that was pretty easy. Next up was to obtain 9 hearts at one time, which might seem really weird, really confusing. Like, how do you even get 9 hearts? Well, I don't know who figured this out or how they figured it out, but if you spin in a circle for like 3 times, if you spin in a circle 3 times, a genie pops out and gives you 3 extra, or was it? No, it's 4 more hearts on regular and simple modes. But I don't know how they figured that out. All right, either got to be like completely by luck, and it just people shaded around. But what the fuck? All right, and then I rolled a 1, and yeah, it was easy. All right, next up is I need to defeat a boss on aisle 4 without killing any of its like little minion guys. So I landed on High Noon Hoopla, the horse, and because it turns out the only thing you can really kill on this is like the little like weird donkey thing that flies across the screen and spits a cactus ball at you, right? But other than that, I just I beat it, easy boss, pretty simple, pretty sweet. All right, next up is the achievement where you gotta beat all of aisle 3 with at least an A or higher. And I didn't know which boss I needed to do at first, right? But what is it gonna be? Other than the obvious, right? Clearly it was Ghost Train. Ghost Train, I only had a B plus on. I just needed to get an A or A higher, and eventually I did get that. Not only did I get an A, I got an A plus. It was pretty easy, pretty awesome. It only took me a couple of tries, but yeah. Last but not least, we just needed to give in to the devil, which takes out 1 and 2 button presses. So that was the achievement. Alright, that's it. Complete 300 percentile of Cuphead. I hope you guys appreciated it. That's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. Wait. There's one more thing. Now, if you had to take a guess right now on how much total deaths I had throughout the entire 300%, what would it be? Here, I'll give you guys an option right now. Above or below 200. You can comment it, or you can just think about it. I don't really care which one. But, take a guess. You have 3, 2, 1. And yep, that was it. It was 169 total deaths. Through my rhymes and through my riddles, 169 deaths. Alright, now the video's over. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.